entertainment rankings and reviews. Mini reviews. Greetings, my fellow YouTubers. Welcome again to Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. I'm the Big D, and I'm here with a mini reviews vids. Today, I'm going to be tackling two recent films from the indie studio that is A24. One film from last year and one from this year. These two films I'm about to talk about, I just recently saw on HBO Max a while ago. So I'm now ready to give you my mini reviews of these two films. One's a psychological drama, one's well, kind of hard to explain about the other one. But let's get into the first one that I'm going to talk about, which is a psychological drama. Okay, now the first film I'm going to be talking about is If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You, released last October 10th of 2025, just almost a year after it premiered at Sundance. The film was directed by Mary Bornstein, starring Rose Byrne as a mother who, after facing numerous obstacles, spirals into a mental breakdown. Well, I am going to say this is okay. Now, of course, with me reviews, I'm going to make them quick, try and make them as quick as I can. If I'm not quick, I apologize, but they will be spoiler free. Our main character is Linda, a psychotherapist stretched to her limits while caring for her clingy, anxious daughter who has a pediatric feeding disorder that necessitates nightly supplemental nourishment through a feeding tube and participation in a day hospital program that Linda drives her to and from every day. Linda's husband, Charles, is away at work as a ship's captain. Family situation worsens when their Montauk apartment is flooded after the ceiling collapses. Linda and their daughter move into a shabby motel. There, Linda meets an insolent clerk, Diana, and the superintendent, Jamie. Linda struggles to sleep due to the noise from her daughter's feeding pump. She spends sleep deprived nights outside the motel room, drinking wine, smoking cannabis, listening to music, and eating junk food. She also leaves the motel to check on the apartment repairs, which have been left in limbo by the contractor's sudden departure. But professionally, Linda is surrounded by difficult and demanding clients, including Caroline, a new mother suffering from paranoia and postpartum anxiety. And Linda also seeks therapy from a colleague who is increasingly exasperated by her lack of professional boundaries. Now, for my thoughts on this film, I am going to say this film is kind of a strange film, but I thought it was decent and what have you. The film did all right. It doesn't have a reported budget. It made over $1 million at the box office. The reviews were pretty decent. Well, actually good. Rotten Tomatoes has a score of 92%, where they say liable to leave audiences in a cold sweat. This fever dream immersion into parental stress connects with thunderous force thanks to Rose Byrne's gutsy star turn and director Mary Bornstein's uncompromising vision. Metacritic has a score of 78. Now, critics praise the performance given by Rose Byrne, who I'll get to in a bit, with one review for the New York Times and one for the LA Times calling it magnificent. David Fear of Rolling Stone wrote, Byrne is particularly on point here, the sort of exquisitely raw, white-knuckle performance that feels so voyeuristic and personal that if you had any decency, you'd look away. She ensures that you can't. Many writers compared the film favorably to Uncut Gems. One reviewer for Time called it Uncut Gems for Moms. Now that's something. Anyway, the film got nominated at the Critics' Choice Awards as Byrne was nominated for Best Actress. But it did win several other awards at several independent award ceremonies. It was also nominated for an Actor Award, a BAFTA Award, and even Academy Award. I think the story was completely fine and what have you. The film didn't really have no score, what have you, which that's kind of a slight downside, but it's okay. I think it's good and what have you, and it's pretty eerie in some parts. Maybe not a whole lot. Anyway, Rose Byrne leads the cast as Linda. I absolutely thought her performance was absolutely real good. While her therapist was played by, are you ready for this? Conan O'Brien. Yes, this was kind of a big shock. I didn't know he was in this. But yeah, he surprised me here. Danielle McDonald plays Caroline, one of Linda's patients. Yes, she's fun. And Delaney Quinn plays Linda's daughter. Then we have as Jamie, the motel superintendent, is Rakeem Athelston Mayers, alias ASAP Rocky, the rapper, record producer, actor, fashion designer, model. And not bad. But what really also surprised me was Christian Slayer. Haven't heard that name in some time. He plays Linda's husband, Charles. Mary Bornstein actually appears in this film playing the character Dr. Spring. Now that's really something. So I must admit the cast was pretty good in Wires. This can be pretty strange, but I really think this was actually not too bad and what have you. I mean, one review says on the poster, Rose Byrne gives the performance of a lifetime. I couldn't agree more. It was kind of a little strange in some parts, some that kind of let me, I don't know. I think this is a film worth looking into. If I had legs, I'd kick you. It's not too bad. I actually kind of like the title of this film too. My score, I give, if I had legs, I'd kick you 4 stars. On a scale of 1 to 10, I give it an 8. Now to the next mini review. Next is a mini review on the 2026 black comedy thriller How to Make a Killing, which was released earlier this year from A24 for Studio Canal. This was released back in February of this year before it premiered, well, got released in the UK and France. Directed by John Patton Ford from a screenplay he wrote, inspired by Robert Hammer and John Diane's British film Kind Hearts and Coronets. Film stars Glen Powell along with Margaret Qualley, Jessica Henwick, Bill Camp, Zach Woods, Topher Grace, and Ed Harris. The film did okay, but didn't do so hot though. It kind of felt like a slight underperformance. Anyway, on death row for murder, Beckett Redfellow speaks with a priest on how he ended up in prison in the beginning of this film. He is raised by a single mother, Mary, who was disowned from the wealthy Redfellow family for choosing to keep her teenage pregnancy. He befriends the affluent Julia Steinway. Prior to her death, Mary stresses to a young Beckett that he should fight for the life he deserves to have. Years later, as an adult, he works in New York City as a luxury suit salesman. Due to a loophole in the will, Beckett is still in line for the $28 billion Redfellow family fortune. After encountering a married Julia and getting demoted from his job, Beckett decides to murder the remaining Redfellows in order to claim his inheritance. Yes, so that's all this story I'm going to give to you on that, so you may want to watch this film. Well, from what I've seen in the film, this film's okay. It's not, well, that great of a film, but I still appreciate for what it had to offer. Upon its release, the film was kind of made a slight underperformance by making 21 million worldwide on its $15 million budget. So you could call it underperformance or you may not. You be the judge. But the reviews were mixed though. Rotten Tomatoes has this at 45%, where they say deploying Glen Powell's magnetic likability to head scratching ends, this totally bizarre comedic thriller wants to eat its rich and have it too. And Metacritic has a score of 41. Benjamin Lee of The Guardian called the film stylishly made, but ultimately a real miss. That I do agree. I appreciate how stylishly made it was, but yeah, it's a mess in some parts, but it's hard to explain after one time watch. Owen Gleiberman of Variety said Powell is sleek enough to cruise through a movie like, well, Tom Cruise, and that he carries the audience with his energized sense of play. Ross Boname of Collider gave the film a more positive grade of 6 out of 10, and that while Ford's film is a good bit of fun, mixing together Scott Pilgrim vs. the World and No Other Choice, although not nearly as good at either, the film is more interested in its eat the rich concept rather than making a solid thriller. Yeah, that is kind of a bit of an issue, but overall, I found the film to be pretty fair and what have you, but not that great. Emile Mosseri's score was pretty good and what have you, but also this is not just inspired by the film Kind Hearts and Coronets, but it's also based on Israel Rank, the autobiography of a criminal by Roy Horniman. So, from what I saw, I will say it was just fine. I mean, it proved to have some pretty good, thrilling bits. Well, for a black comedy thriller, but it did have a decent cast, though. For the cast, we have Glen Powell as Beckett Redfellow. I'll say he did fine and what have you. Maybe not one of the best performances he's given, but I still liked it, though. Margaret Qualley played Julia, who was good. Jessica Henwick played Noah's girlfriend, Ruth. Good. Bill Cam played Warren, Beckett's uncle and Gull. And Zach Woods as Noah, Beckett's cousin. And Topher Grace as Pastor Stephen J. Redfellow, Beckett's another cousin of Beckett's. And Ed Harris played Whitelaw Redfellow, Beckett's grandfather. So I'm going to say the cast is not too bad, the main cast here. So I will say, well, this is kind of a mixed bag, but I feel like it does have a little bit of fun bits, but maybe not to save this film from being a complete disaster. But I managed to do what I could to defend this film. So this film isn't completely that bad, completely. I thought it was fine and what have you. But anyway, that's about it. That's about all I can say on this one. Now, these films should be on physical media by now, but if you can't find them, no problem. Both film, both this along with If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You, are both available on HBO Max. So you can check these two out if you're interested. Now, for my score, I'm going to give How to Make a Killing 3.5 stars. On a scale of 1 to 10, I give it a 7. So, what did you think of these two films? Have you seen If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You or How to Make a Killing, or have you seen them both? Tell me in the comments section below. If you like this video, click the like button, subscribe, click the bell for notifications, and be a part of the Big D Nation. Continue to help support my channel, and you know the rest. Join me next time when I bring to you my July schedule vid. So if you like this, you may want to check out some of these other films. Here's some films with the stars of these two films. In the upper left-hand corner, you can check out my review of a pretty good movie where Rose Byrne's the bad gal in, opposite to the good guy, or should I say good gal, Melissa McCarthy in Spy. That was a fun film. The upper right-hand corner is my spoiler-free review of a recent film of Glen Powell's that just kind of didn't do so hot. I wish it could have, but not that great. In The Running Man, which was released last year. Or you can go to the bottom left-hand corner and see my spoiler-free review of another film with Mr. Powell that I thought was decent and what have you, Twisters. And the bottom right hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe. If you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., then I'm your guy. Thank you for watching. Until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya.